Gonna wait for some people to join. Don't mind me just putting my hair up. Hopefully we'll have some people hop on to join me. Okay. Hi, I see somebody with me. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes and see if anyone else joins. I know it just got to 4 o'clock right now. Thanks for coming. Hi, Divine Goddess. Thanks for joining me. I miss everyone from the group. I'll pull some affirmation cards while we're waiting. Hey, Stella, can you close those blinds? It's like a really bad glare off my glasses. Thank you. All right. Maybe close them. All right, so just pull some affirmation cards while we're waiting for some others to come. The first one I got, it says, I am living my full potential. I attract those that help me reach my goals. And I make positive choices in my life. Those are also true, right? I know going to Nubian's thing really helped me attract people. It's really nice to have the support from everyone. So, I guess I can pull cards while I'm waiting and see if anyone else comes. I can do it a little different. Pull some cards for you, Divine Goddess. I'm just going to ask cards for your highest good unless if you have a question you want me to ask. Oh, that's great. It's nice to attract people, right? It's just nice to attract like positive people, you know? Not even like, yeah, it's nice to have people who like help you, but it's nice just to have the support. Like you guys come in here and, you know, it's just nice to know that there's loving people who will support you. I've had people who I've been friends with forever, and I've known you guys, you know, a month. So I was pulling cards on Facebook last week, and I had a lot of people hop on. And I don't mind doing the lives over there, but I kind of want to grow my YouTube page, so I'm trying to pull people over here. So I'm going to see how it goes. I know last night I had a good showing. Same. All right. The card I got for you says Daughter of the Sacred Heart. It's a really pretty picture. And it's the number 8. 8 is the number of unity, of togetherness, of oneness. I'm going to read it for you. This is like a newer deck for me, and I don't work with it that much. It says, you're going to free yourself from a painful criticism or judgment held against you, perhaps by yourself, perhaps by others, another person, or a group of people. Human beings do not have the spiritual right to condemn each other or ourselves. Every human being is here to learn how to grow, and every human being will make mistakes along the way. You are releasing that you can claim responsibility for your actions and make amends where needed without ever deserving to be attacked or put down. You are realizing that you don't have to be perfect to be pure of heart and deserving of respect and kindness. This makes the Divine Mother very happy. Within you is a goddess of innocence that can never be tainted. No matter what experience you've had or what mistakes you think you have made, it can be hard to understand and accept just how the Divine Mother loves you. So I think that kind of goes with the energy that I've been feeling. I'm just going to get to the energy report and then people can watch it. Where is it? Hold on one second. I forgot my 2 cards I want to use. Criticism against myself, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I have to let go. I will talk more about that because it's something that I've been trying to work through myself, is how I criticize myself and how I hold myself back. It's something that I've been like feeling a lot, but now I see like where it stems from. And since I'm like a air sign and I'm always up in my mind, me seeing like where it stems from, it makes it easier for me to clear it. So I'm going to do the energy report really fast. To me, Libra is the sign that is the scales. So she also in the tarot deck, it is represented by the Empress, which the Empress is, to me, all 4 of the signs put together. So she's the most balanced of all of them. And then Libra right now is in Aries. Aries is her divine partner, is the Emperor. So to me, this is saying that a lot of us who have been on this journey, or I know everyone changes at their own time, but everyone right now is finding a balance of their divine feminine and their divine masculine in some way. I know for me personally, it has to do with releasing criticism of myself. Libra also, wrong one. Libra represents relationships. Now, a lot of times people say to me, I'm not in a relationship. And that may be true to a point, but the only notes that I wanted to use today was the definition of what a relationship is. It says a relationship is the way in which 2 or more concepts, an object, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. So that to me just says, even if I have a concept like I want to go live, or even if I have a concept of I actually want to do a project at work. Okay, so I can either feed that concept with higher vibration, or I could feed that concept with lack of worth, which is what I have been doing a lot in the past. Also for myself, I feel like I have relationship with source, spirit comes first. Relationship with myself comes number 2, and then relationship with everything like outside of me. And when I was prepping for this live, I started to do like research for days. I'm like, I want to learn about Libra. I want to learn about Aries. I had like all these notes written, and Divine told me to take those notes and throw it to the side. They said, like, you don't trust us by now that you will be told what to say and know what to do. So, it's just like the more that I trust them, the more that I trust myself, the more I expand and release. I know I talked about this in the workshop with you guys because I was so nervous. When Nubian said that I had to talk to you guys and I had to introduce myself, my heart was like racing. I was like a nervous wreck. That really got me to think, like, where are these nerves coming from? It's not the person who I want to be today. That's the person who I was. So then I kept asking the universe, like, show me why I was so shy. And then it brought me down to when I was 3 years old. When I was 3 years old and I used to hold on to my mom's leg, my mom used to be like, Jenny, like, stop acting like that. Why can't you just talk to people? Like, this is really, like, stop doing this. So, like, even at the age of 3, I was told, like, the way that I was acting wasn't proper. And I don't even know what caused me to be so shy. Yeah. So then I asked the universe again, like, please show me, like, what caused me to be shy like that. Like, I understand when I was 3, my mom didn't understand me. So I'm like, please show me. So the universe then later showed me that people projecting at me, they're in, like, people have insecurities. And if they view me and it triggers them, they project that at me. So if this was happening to me when I was a child and I wasn't strong enough within myself, that made me criticize myself. That made me not have a sense of self-value and self-worth. So that being aware of how other people's projections have really affected me my whole life, I'm letting them go. During this full moon, this is what I'm letting go. I'm letting go of my shyness. I'm letting go of the fact that I self-criticize. I'm letting go of the fact that I hold myself back. I'm letting go of the fact that other people's projections are no longer going to affect me. There's something else I wanted to say about that. Oh yeah, and then also the way that I project on others. Um, I was talking with a friend of mine, and I wasn't sure if he understood my healing. So, and he's always open. He's always hearing me out. So, but I just had a feeling of being insecure within myself that he's not going to accept me, like, who I am. So it's one thing for me to prove myself. It's one thing for me just to act as I am and go about my way and just, but then I found myself wanting to prove to him, like, that this healing is good. And I wanted to, like, show him what it's all about. So I was letting, like, flow drive me rather than letting flow drive me. So I was taking the projection of my lack out on him. So I realized that I've done this to this person twice now. So I'm just trying to be more aware of how, when I'm feeling the lack within myself, how I am projecting it at other people. So yeah, I'll pull some more cards for you. And that's really what this energy is about. Everyone is, like, going within and finding some type of clarity or some type of balance within themselves. And the next new moon is in the sign, it's in the earth sign of Taurus. So maybe a lot of people are feeling this balance of energy of the intuitiveness of what we need and having that, like, push to go do it. But once the Taurus energy hits, you should be, like, ready to go after it. Since I am an air sign, the minute that I feel this intuitiveness, I'm already wanting to take action. So I'm learning to kind of wait and balance it out. So let me see. So when I do my healing sessions, I find that there's 20 common blocks to healing. So I wanted to create a deck, an oracle deck. This concept just came to me, like, last night. So I wrote out 20 of the most common blocks on these little cards, and I wrote out positive energies on them. So I just kind of made my own deck. So I'm going to ask right now a message that they want to know for you, Divine Goddess. I'm hoping in time to, like, take this idea of my oracle cards and go more in depth with them. The first card that thank you. The first card that I pulled for you was Strong Writs. And that's another thing that I found is I've been in the receiving mode. Like, by clearing out all the stuff, another advice that I've been given to a lot of my clients is to tap into how you feel. And when you're tapping into those feelings, like, when I was tapping in with, like, why am I scared to talk? Why am I scared to do lives? Why am I scared to make a phone call? Like, everything that I was, like, realizing triggered me all led back to being insecure in myself. So then I would suggest to people to evaluate how they feel throughout their day. Write down the feeling they are having and what caused them to feel that way. And then if it was like mine, you would see insecurity, 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 insecurity. So then ask yourself, when's the first time I felt that? So I go way back to say age 3, and then tell myself I'm going to send in like white light. I'm going to send in healing light to that. And then I have to take the action like now. I have to take the action in the now to shift it. So it's like, yes, by me sending in divine light and healing, it's going to heal that like childhood wound, but it also takes me in the physical to shift that energy now. So that's a tip that I'm just giving everyone that I was just going to share with you. The first card you got was Strong Roots, and the next one I got was Judgment. Let me see what else they got. Maybe it's saying like you're built on strong roots and don't judge anymore. You know, I know if you're like me, you've been on this journey a while, and you know, we are building ourselves on those strong roots. So it makes it so much easier to let go of that criticism, you know? Like it helps me to let go of that shy girl because now I'm built on solid roots. Inner child healing and intuitive. So yeah, so I would just tell you to do the same thing, to try to tap into what you're feeling, and see if it's all linked to this inner child. Just send the love and light and tell that child that it's healed now, that you know how to care for it in a healthier manner. So I pull an Archangel Michael card, and if no one, oh, there's someone else on now. Thanks for joining me, whoever else is here. And the message from I really only do personal readings on self. I'm not the type of reader who will give, like, if you want a reading on what is your block to love and how to obtain love, I can certainly do that for you. But I don't, that's just not who I am. I like tap into energy, so I'm not one who can see. But the other card that I got for you, Divine Goddess, is the person you're asking about is trustworthy. Thank you for helping me have faith so I can open my heart wider in my relationships. I am grateful for your protection, ensuring that only trustworthy people are in my life. Which I know, like, this is hard. This is hard to do. Like, after all that hurt, you know, after we've been all that wounded and stuff. Okay. Is Sylvie Girl still here? Thanks for coming, Divine Goddess. Okay. So I'll pull some cards for Sylvie Girl. How about what's coming towards me in love? I found with love, I don't know where you're at on your journey, but I have found with love that obtaining self-love and clearing all your wounding is the best way to attract the love that you want. The cards that I'm now going to use is called The Divine Feminine and Masculine Reunited. It's by Christabel Jessica. The first cards that I pulled are Boundaries. And the second one is Abandonment. So these were blocks that you can have to finding healthy love. I know when I used to have unhealthy boundaries, I would attract the wrong type of men into my life. I realized that my fear of being abandoned, my fear of self-worth just held me in a place of accepting less than I deserve. I realized that a lot of my childhood wounding did not bring me into a clear space of who to allow in my life and stuff like that. So I would examine your boundaries if you need tighter boundaries. I know by me living in alignment with my God self and my values, like that helps me decide if a person should be with me or not in my life. Let me see what other advice they would have for you. The card that I pulled was Warrior Goddess. Says this is not a time to play it safe, nor is it a time to allow another to take the lead in your life. You need to believe in yourself and trust that the instincts guiding you are correct. If you need to take action, do it. Speak up, say yes, say no. Trust your inner truth completely. Be bold. The universe will answer your boldest actions and affirmation, and you'll move through the consequences of your actions with grace and courage, ending up exactly where you are meant to be. So, since you asked me who is coming into your life in regards to love, maybe I don't know if it's a test, maybe it's something that you're going to be tested to see if these are really cleared. Maybe, this is telling you to take action. So, yeah, that's the cards that came up. Let me see what they want you to focus on for your highest good. All right, to focus on for your highest good, I had unconditional love, grace, perspectives, and trust issues all popped out. That might be why this abandonment card was coming up for you. We don't have to feel abandoned by people, or by just like a love partner. You could feel abandoned by your parents. So maybe that's why that card was coming up. Maybe they were suggesting that you need to set proper boundaries with your parents. I know when I was trying to focus on myself, I do love my parents a lot, but I did take a lot of space. I did create a lot of boundaries just so I could have that more time to like heal and focus on me. Let me read the abandonment card to you. It says, abandonment is never because of you. Let me repeat that. Abandonment is never because of you. Let that paint every part of your energy field. It is not because you are unworthy. It is not because you are unlovable. It is not because there is something about you that deserves to be rejected. It is caused by someone not having the capacity to be present with you. And that's another thing I've learned during this shift is someone can only love you to the depth that they love themselves. So if someone like a parent is carrying heavy wounding from their childhood, they're not going to have the capacity to love you at the depth that you think that you should be loved. So that could be what these perspectives we're talking about. It's like once I started to see my family, like I'm not talking just about my parents, but my whole family and where their wounding stemmed from, it really helped me to not take that judgment onto myself, and to know that that lack comes from them. Um, and then another thing that I know to be true is that people can only see you for the work that you have done. So even though like you may know you have this divine white light and you're like healing yourself and you're working really hard, until you like clear out a lot of your wounding, people will see you like that. Some people can see your wounding clearly, or yeah, I'm trying to think how to word that right. So it says, it is caused by someone not having the capacity to be present with you. Only hurt people, and every single human is hurt in some way. We all know this, but it's not always easy to remember in situations when we ourselves feel hurt. It is always of the utmost importance to feel any grief or feelings that come up surrounding the feeling of being abandoned, but to remind yourself after deeply feeling the pain that is not because you are not lovable. If someone does not have the capacity to be there for you and they show you that, listen to them. They will come to you if and when they have built the capacity to be present. The same works the other way. If you choose not to be with someone who shows interest in you, it is okay. It is not that you are not being a bad or hurtful person. It's not that this person is unlovable. So, are you having a hard time telling your emotions from other people's emotions? Is that what you're saying? I think when you start to heal yourself, um, I'd give a tip earlier by tapping into your, like what you're feeling. So if you tap into what you're feeling and then write down what triggered it and then write down what the main block of that is. Usually I have a list of 21 main blocks. It's like judgment, fear, perspectives, label, abandonment. Like, so you would see what the label is and then see where that stems from. And then once you clear that out in me, I can clearly see someone else's woundings. So let's just say someone approaches me with guilt. I'll just sit there and I'll know that this, what I'm picking up, has nothing to do with me because I don't even carry that inside of me. Like I do, but I know how to handle it. Hmm. You, yeah, being in a spiritual connection with someone else just takes work. I don't know how long you've been on the journey. You know, I had to completely try to pull his away from mine just so I could focus on me. You know, as much as I love that spiritual bond that we had, I really had to step away from him a year and a half. Yeah, I've been on it now for almost 3 years, complete like 3 years. And like I got to one point where, although like at first that spiritual bond was so comforting and so relaxing and it meant a lot to me, and it still does, I just needed to like cut it so I could focus on me and focus on my emotions and make sure that I wasn't feeling anyone else's. So if you want to tell spirit that you need time to do that, spirit will, like, just like we can guide ourselves on earth, we can also guide ourselves in the higher realms. So if you tell them that you need space away from his feeling him, they will do that for you. They honor that just to bring clarity to you about what you're feeling. But you feeling that from your parents, it could also just be a sign that you need space from them, that you need to set boundaries with them. Yeah, I can pull one other card for you, and then I'll move on to somebody else. It's so hard to say whose energy you're feeling. That's why it's important for you to get to know self. You know, I think when you're on this journey, you definitely shift and change. It's not like I don't care to connect with people. I just don't care to connect with people who's not going to like honor me. So if they're not going to be honoring me with love and light, and they're just going to be bringing me lower energy, you know, it's not that I don't want them in my life, but I need boundaries with them, you know, and it gets easier and easier to do that with even loved one, even family. This says to make a commitment. I think this is a commitment with self and a commitment with spirit. I know that you've been on this journey. You said a year and a half. I just think you have a little bit more digging to do. I think I would suggest you talk to your guides and ask if you could disconnect from his energy for a while, if you're ready to do that. Let me see what else they have for you. And just gratitude. Yeah, I think that's my suggestion for you. Who else is in here? Is the Glamorous Love 89 still in here? You would be next, Laura. If the Glamorous is still in here, she was before you. All right, Laura, if you want to ask a question. I do like to focus on self. Thank you for sharing too. Yeah, I would just focus on those triggers and just ask yourself like the main energy of the trigger. I explained this earlier in the video, like I didn't want to do lives. And why? Because of fear. What was triggering that fear? I was feeling insecure in myself. I didn't want to do card readings. I can tap into energies. I am confident that I am a like healer. I am confident in that side of me. But then when it came to card readings, I was holding myself back. Why? Because of fear, because of insecurity. I didn't want to like answer a phone. Because of why? Because of fear, because of insecurity. So I just started tapping into my emotion and seeing the pattern that fear and insecurity was a big one of my triggers. And then I realized that my insecurity went back to childhood. So I would suggest that with you too. And if you think his energy is triggering with you, then I would ask source energy to give you space and just give you time to go within. Because yeah, the beginning of my journey for the first year, I really enjoyed that spiritual connection. But the past 2 years, I've been all focused on myself. All right, Laura, if you want to ask a question, I don't know if that. But you can communicate spiritually. Yeah, but you can ask for that spiritual bond to give less space. You just tell your spirit guides that you need to know your own energy and you need space from him. And he'll feel you detaching more. And don't do it for this reason. Do it for the reason that you want to get to know self. But you tell spirit that I want to detach spiritually from him. So I have time to get to know my feelings. You're saying you are confused. Are these my feelings? Are these his feelings? How are you supposed to get to know yourself if you don't ask spirit to detach from him? So you ask Spirit to help you detach from him spiritually, and that will give you time to focus on just you. He'll feel that pull away, which will trigger him into something that he needs to learn, because then he'll be trying to connect to you spiritually, and it's going to trigger him too. So it's just like, the back and forth game. But if you do it just for that reason, it's not going to work. You got to do it because you want to get to know self. Is that a friend of yours? Is that Laura? What is Israel feeling about me? All right, I'm going to move on to Laura for now. Yeah, my twin does come to me in my dreams, though, a lot. That's a common thing. But if you cut off that spiritual connection, those might stop too. But then in time, once you guys balance more, once you get to know yourself back, then the bond comes back in spiritually. And then you try to rebalance it all again. It's just a balancing act. How long have you been on the journey, Laura? Hold on, I'm trying to grab my romance cards. I didn't grab my romance cards. I'm really not a huge fan of doing love readings. I'm more so focused on my self energy. But I understand why you want to, because there's even times I want to pull, see what my twin's feeling. So I'll pull one for Laura. Does any of you, okay, if you don't have children, it says children. It says your love life is being affected by children. This could be, if you don't have children on the physical, this could be your inner child wounding is what's holding you guys back right now. And the other one was make the effort. So I'm going to say that this is making the effort to do the work on your inner child. But I also think if you do have children yourself, that they too have to learn these spiritual lessons and shift as well. So it's either one of those two. Let me see if I can tap into how he's feeling about you. Yeah, it's that intense spiritual bond. It used to trigger me when I used to cry. I used to feel that too when I was laying in. Yeah, I've experienced all that. And then I got to, like, at first I enjoyed it and I loved it, and it's still very, very special to me. But then I got to a point where it was just, I got to a point where I really wanted to tap into how I was feeling. It is very intense. And I think it's meant to be that way to trigger you. But then you get to a point where you only want to focus. Like, I got to a point where I'm like, what do I need to do within myself to feel happy? And for me to feel happy, I just needed space. I needed to go within, I just started putting how I feel first. That's why I did have to cut him off spiritually. And I think me and him both did it for a while. We both felt the need to just distance ourselves. Let me see. How is he feeling about her? Oh, it fell in. So I asked how he's feeling about you, and I got romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Let me pull from my Divine Feminine Masculine deck for you, Laura. Just advice for you for your highest good. I can almost feel like that it saddens you. Do you do anything when you feel that? Like, are you trying to clear it? Are you writing about it? I know when I was feeling my twin, sometimes I just wrote in letters and I didn't send it to him. Sometimes I did, like on full moon releases, I would ask to release the intense feelings it was bringing up in me, and then I would burn it. The one card we got was miscommunication. And then God of obstruction, which this is just God of change. It's like change is coming. It's going, you know, this is like having that tower moment happen in your life. Let me see. Transformation, yeah. Which is, that's the energy that we're in right now. I was explaining earlier on the video that we're in the Empress energy of balance, and the Libra, I'm sorry, we're in the Libra energy of balance, but Libra's in Aries. So you got balancing yourself more in the divine feminine and masculine energy, you know? Since I always focus on myself, I look at that as balancing me, learning more about self and transforming myself and taking action on it. What are you? What's your sign? I'm a Gemini, Aquarius, okay. Let's see what other advice I could have for you. Do you ever try to enjoy the energy, or is it just overpowering to you when it arrives? I know it's too much. I try to enjoy it. See if you can enjoy it. If it's too much, you do have a right to tell your spirit guides that it's too much. Just like we can guide ourselves on this physical plane. Like if I want to set boundaries with a man, let's say someone can like approaches me and asks me if I want to go out, I can set boundaries with him. You can even do that spiritually. So if you're feeling like this is too much, you can just like demand to your guides that don't want to feel him right now, you know, unless you can ask your guides to show you how to come to a place that it doesn't trigger you so much emotionally. But I always ask for guidance. The one that I got was fair. You know, and I used to have guidance. I used to hear my guides talking to me, telling me to walk away. And the intense of his energy, like pulling me close, was just too much. Like I couldn't even listen to my guides, you know, that. And I think the wounding within me still, like I didn't have the proper discernment. I didn't have the self-love. I didn't have all that stuff. So I wasn't listening to my guides. Now when they tell me to take distance, I listen. So I got the self card for you, learning more about self. So yeah, if you do need to take that space from spirit, you can tell them. I got to the point where I was like demanding it. I was telling spirit, no more. I don't want to feel him right now. Especially being super sensitive. Or you can only ask to feel him when you want to. Ask that he like somehow acknowledge you, you know? I don't really feel him too much spiritually now. It's like it's a balance of it all. It's like you balance it in the spiritual realm. Okay. So eventually you're going to have to try to balance that energy out. And then you balance it in the physical realm. And then the spiritual comes back. And then you're still trying to balance it all, if it makes sense. So it's right now, it's like I'm intuitively connected to him now, and I feel like we both have proper boundaries with each other on the physical realm as well as the spiritual realm. So I don't know what's going to happen from here, but we hardly ever really trigger each other anymore, which is a good thing, but it took a long time to get here, you know. But it's all like asking yourself what you need. But yeah. Yeah, the mirror is crazy. The mirror is, I like even told him, like, I got to the point where I'm like, you're running away from me. And he was trying to create jobs in his life. And like he wouldn't respond to me for days. He would have that same energy would manifest in his life. So he was trying to manifest jobs, and he was trying to manifest people to call him back because he's in sales. And since he was putting that energy out to me, he was getting that energy back to him. And since I was accepting less than I deserve, that I was going after something that I was guided not to do, and I was trying to manifest work in my life, that was really holding me up too, because I was receiving that back. They're like, you don't think you're worthy, then you're not going to get stuff that you want. Because it's like the way, not only do me and my twin mirror each other, but the universe mirrors back to you what you need to learn with your twin. So they were telling him, either set boundaries with her or walk away, and they were telling me the same thing. Yeah, I went through a spiritual awakening. Mine probably started in March of 2016. And then I met I knew him, but I had my spiritual awakening March 2016. And then I came across the word twin flame shortly after that. And then I had known Jared. Sorry, I shouldn't say his name. I've known him for a while. And then he was just like a mutual friend that we have known for a while. And even my mom had this like app on her phone. It's like a ghost radar app. And his name would come up on his radar on her app all the time. And his inner child was showing up into my dreams. Like these dreams would haunt me. Like I knew the dreams meant something to me, and I could understand what they were meaning at the time. That was probably in 2012, though, that I was having his inner child come to me, and he was coming to me playing hide and seek, and he kept on saying to me, "No, no, 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 you can't find me." And I would chase him around the attic, which if you look up what attic means, it's spiritual. So I couldn't even find him in the spiritual realm. So, and then I was really drawn to him, and I asked to meet him in November 2016. And that's when I was really awakened to the fact of who he was in my life. And it's just been a journey since then. Spiritual awakening, I woke up in that March. I had the Kundalini energy running up and down my back. I felt the healing energy, like just energy, like pouring out my hands. And then roughly after, like within a month after, I saw like a huge giant white orb. So yeah, so I know that I'm meant to be a healer, and I just think cards and is a great way to reach people, to teach them how I tapped into my healing process more. So that's how come I want to read cards for people now. And it looks like from the people who showed up here that the universe is telling me that I will be that I will be doing love readings and helping people with their journey. But I'm okay with that. Yeah. I saw him 2 weeks ago. And honestly, I saw him. I accepted that I know he's not ready yet. I was really happy and grateful for the time that I got to spend with him. And I was really surprised because normally after a day spent with him, I would be triggered for months. And I left and I was probably triggered for maybe 8 hours, but I was just triggered in the fact of when am I going to see him next? Like just that thought, you know? So I feel like I'm getting closer and closer, but it's a process, you know? And I don't know. That's why I'm just trying to focus on more of my healing. And I feel like the universe is really pushing me to get myself out there more and share what I've learned with my journey. So I don't know. I know I pulled, I know this last in, I know the last insecurity goes back to deep, deep wounding to the age of 3. So I know that I'm getting down to my wounding where I started my healing in like healing on like relationships around me, like learning how to work through relationship healings, like with my mom, with my dad, with my kids, you know. And also I was growing myself spiritually, so I was learning how to like quiet my mind, doing meditation and stuff like that. But then I don't know, I just feel like it's a journey of all balancing the realm, like the physical realm, the spiritual realm. And the more and more like that you release, the one thing I talk about, which I'm sure you've heard of, is Abraham Hicks and that relation or the scale by vibration scale. I'm sure if you've been on the journey by now that you've heard of it. Um, but I was like, anytime that I would feel the bottom of that scale, I would tap into myself and ask me, why am I feeling that? What do I need to do to shift it? Because the more and more that you shift that energy, you bring in more abundance, you bring in more joy, you bring in more love, and you bring in more spiritual room for spiritual to guide you, and it brings you closer to your twin. I did. I even dated someone else for a while, which probably really triggered him. Um, this was back in May of last year, April of last year. I had a dream. He came to me in my dream and he told me that he wasn't interested in this lifetime. Like he was just like he was ready to move on. And ancestors were in the dream and they were all crying. And I was sitting there and in the dream, I was like, okay, that's okay. If that's what you want to do, then I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to move on. And I'm just going to live my life. And we like hugged each other goodbye and he got in his car and drove off. So then I was like, okay, if this is how he's feeling, then I am going to try to move on with my life because I was already detached from him. But now I'm going to detach even more. So I did date someone from April and then until when did that like April of last year, and then that happened for a while. But then even with that even taught me lessons, and I know that it probably taught him lessons. But it was just like I know my soul alignment, and regardless of what he's doing, I know who I am on this earth. I know what I want to create. So if I try to create outside of that space, I learned that yes, it helped me detach more from him. So I was happy for that. But then I also learned that I will just create karma. Any person that comes into my life who wants a love relationship, he's not on my soul alignment, and I'm just going to create karma with him. So maybe I was meant to create that karma with him to learn lessons and to mirror something to my twin, because then I had another dream after I broke up with this person that me and my twin both said that we were both wrong for walking away. But the journey gets exhausting. The journey was so wearing on me at that point. I was just really exhausted. Now I feel like I'm good. Like if he's not ready to come in, I'm okay with that. Because I do feel like I'm at a good space spiritually. Oh my God, it's so draining. I can relate to you so much. That's why I had to cut him off spiritually. So then I cut him off spiritually, but me and my twin, we had like a different, I know a lot of people go into like full separation. Throughout this, even when I dated, we would still like contact each other. We would just text each other as friends. His karma is work, so that also makes a difference than most people's journeys. So we're just both trying to accept each other where we are at, But yeah, if you're feeling drained, then you might ask if it's for your highest good to maybe start to detach from him spiritually. And you'll both learn. It will teach you your strength. It will teach you like inner courage, strength, self-worth, standing in your power, like, and it will teach him something as well. As for feeling drained, are you doing anything for that? Are you doing like spiritual baths, walks, meditations, I'm sure, cleanses? You into healing? You ever heal yourself? Yeah, I would start to meditate too. One thing that I would suggest doing with your twin, I don't know if you are into crystals or not. I'm holding a selenite wand. A clear quartz is good too. I don't believe in cutting cords to anybody who you're meant to be connected with. So if he is your soul alignment, I would suggest cutting the negativity, cutting any of the past draining energy. And if you don't have a wand, you can just ask your universal guides to come in and cut away all that negative draining energy from you and him. And then ask them to heal your core to divine love and light. So heal any attachment to you, to divine love and light. And ask that every day. Everybody, even if it's your parents, if it's a relative, if it's your work, if it's anything, ask it to detach negative attachments from it, negative perspectives, and then ask it to bring in divine light and love to it. And ask that anything that's not for your highest good to go away. And even if that's that spiritual bond right now, then it will go away and it will guide you. Because you don't need to see a healer. Like getting Reiki done, seeing a healer is wonderful, but you can do all these things yourself, especially if you're on this journey. I have no doubt that you could. I would try salt baths too. Maybe when you're feeling him spiritually, maybe hop in the salt bath, and that will calm your vibe down. Water is very clearing. Water is very energetic. So that's good. Heart, yeah, 7 heart chakra bracelet's good. Oh, what did I use? I think I used Snowflake Iridescent. I'm so bad with crystal names. Snowflake, it's like, Snowflake Obsidian. I wore Snowflake Obsidian with smoky quartz when I didn't want to pick up on his energy, because that blocks out outside energy. So even if you put one around your bed, underneath your pillow, if you're for sure that you don't want to feel him, you just set the intention that you need your own space. But if you're not ready to release the spiritual connection, then I would try the salt baths maybe. Or even like I've done the healings before where I've just put my hand in water. And putting my hand in water helps like move the energy. Because these connections are crazy. Something that most people don't understand. All right, I'm going to sign off though. So I'm hoping that you would like and subscribe, and I could chat with you another time. Thanks for coming.